10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kickoff. Hello and welcome to the Football Revolution. I'm your host, Gio. Great to have your company. Mahaban to you. Hello, in honour of Morocco's upset of Belgium earlier today. And joining me is my co-host who's been putting in a few all-nighters. Good evening to you, VIG.
Good evening. All aboard the Marrakesh Express. So get on the train.
Mate, I've just been enjoying watching the Gersbach Express. I saw this morning you and your younger brother Alex, who obviously plays in France, and the next generation of Gersbach's, Giannis, all watching a game together. If only the old man had come around, you would have had the awesome foursome.
Yeah, that's right. I think we all sat on the couch and pretended to be German for one morning. But no, good game, and keeps Germany in the reckoning to get through the group stage. So Spain were also good, but 1-1 draw, probably fair in the end.
Mate, I've been looking the whole World Cup to try and find out something good about the World Cup being hosted in Qatar in November instead of June or July, and I've now found it. It means that usually your brother would be over in France playing in the domestic league, but he's been able to come back for a week. So if nothing else, we can always look back on this World Cup and say it's a time you got to spend some time with your brother and he got to spend some time with your family. So it's a good World Cup.
Win-win.
Win-win. All right, the World Cup is serving up some great games, upsets and star performances, but they can't seem to shake the off-field drama and politics. What's going on there? Every time there's something good on the pitch, there's something equally as bad off it.
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure, but there's always, with social media these days, there's always a negative twist on anything. Anytime something good happens, there's always something bad that's happening as well. So, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, and a lot of people that like to put some, throw some negativity on every single event. But yeah, look, I'm just glad we spoke about it last week. I'm just glad that the football started now. Let's see the football do the talking. That's what we want to watch. That's what the fans care about most. The off-field political stuff. Let's keep that with the politicians. They need to make changes, or they need to learn from the mistakes they've made and make sure it doesn't happen again. Yes, football's a wonderful platform to raise awareness for these types of issues. But let's stick to football. That's what the players do best. That's what the fans do best. Let's embrace it. It's a unique competition that only football can bring people together like this. So let's celebrate it. Let's enjoy it, and let's just watch it and see what happens.
Mate, well said. And I think no matter what happens off the pitch, there's obviously things that need to be addressed, now as well as after the tournament. But football is the best at bringing these amazing stories, and we'll touch on it a bit later. But Juki, when he's waving to his son in the crowd, and there's millions of these stories that happen. So, like I said, it doesn't matter what else happens. I think this will be remembered as one of those, those events where it brings everybody together. But there is definitely some things on the checklist that need to be looked at, like I said, at a later date, if not now. Mate, bravo to our Aussie lads as the Socceroos earn a hard-fought win against a solid Tunisia, leaving destiny in our own hands, heading into a last group game against Denmark, who are an excellent side, but have been a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's a huge win for Australian football. Great goal from Mitch Duke. We played some decent football, and we had to scrap in the second half. We had to work hard, but that's what it takes sometimes to win a game at the World Cup. Our first win in 12 years, and we need to fight. The football, in the second half wasn't so pretty, but we go 1-0 up at half time, and we afford ourselves the luxury of then scrapping out a win, and some great tackles. A great tackle from Harry Suter, and I thought back four and Matty Ryan were pretty solid. So. We take the win, but we need to build on that. And we've got a bit of momentum now. And then, like you said, Denmark haven't been playing that well, so maybe we catch them on an off day again, and they've had an off campaign. So all we need is a draw, but we need to go out there with the mentality that we can win this game. We can play attractive football, and I want to see that from the Socceroos.
Yeah, look, super happy for the lads and for the whole of Australia in general. But look, let's not get carried away. I hear people sitting there saying Suter's tackle was like Maldini. Okay, let's just back off a little bit.
Let's wind it back a bit. There was also another brilliant tackle this morning in the Germany-Spain game. Nico Scholterbeck, absolutely brilliant. It was arguably probably better than Suter's. It was inside the box as well. So let's not get too carried away. Still one game to play. We still, our football still leaves a little bit to be desired. But we're hopefully heading in the right direction. And a win in the World Cup can, it lifts the nation, gets everybody talking about football again. But we need to capitalise on that now moving forward.
Hey, we don't have Maldini, we have Suter, and that's what we need at the moment. So Maldini's not going to do anything for us. But yeah, like you said, look, we've just got to go into this Denmark game, try and get a result. Hopefully, France do us a favour, and all we need is a draw out of a Denmark game. But yeah, look, I'm happy to be a pig with lipstick on it. It doesn't have to be the prettiest result, just has to be a result. And considering, like you said, it's been 12 years since we've had a win, so we'll take it any way we can. Week 2 of our A-League Women's Wrap coming up a little later in the show. It's our first week of our World Cup Peely Awards. It's finally arrived, so that's pretty exciting. And like I said, really looking forward to that. Look, you could call it whatever you like. Pele Awards, Peely Awards. We're calling it the Peely Awards based on a few jokes from a movie we'll touch on a little bit later. But yeah, very excited to bring you those awards from the first, week and a half of the World Cup. Is there anything I didn't see, VIG?
I don't know. You tell me you've been watching every single minute of every fixture, so I think you've probably covered it all. But no, some interesting things we'll probably touch on a bit later in the Peely Awards.
My screen time's come up this week saying screen time's gone through the roof. So I know I've been watching a lot of football, reading a lot of football, but it only happens every 4 years, right? So then I just have to probably back off again for the next 4 years until the next one in Canada, America, and Mexico. But this week in the player escape room, we are joined by Melbourne Victory's brilliant numero uno, Paul Izzo, which will be a great chat for us. But in the meantime, let's get a quick snapshot of the A-League women's table. So Western United on top on 6, Adelaide in second on 6, both those teams undefeated. Brisbane back in third on 4, so they've had a win and a draw, so they also remain undefeated. Melbourne City are on 3, only played 1 game, so they are also undefeated. And rounding up the top 6 is the Jets on 3 and Sydney FC on 3. My weekly wrap has been replaced by Shout Out, dedicating a song to a team or a player for their good and bad performance. This week, I'm going a little bit different to what I have been. It won't be based on the men's A-League or the women's A-League. This week's shout out goes to Gianni Infantino and the team at FIFA. It's Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Firstly, his speech, which I still absolutely, my jaw hit the ground when that happened, and I didn't know if I could pick it up off the ground. I think I might have just now, but absolute shocker. And also the FIFA World Cup goal music choices. So just give you a couple of these, which, I wouldn't mind your opinion on, VIG. So Australia chose Men at Work's Down Under or Powder Fingers on My Mind. England chose Dia Lupa's One Kiss. Germany chose Nickelback When We Stand Together. South Korea chose BTS's Idol. May's Feels So Good was chosen by America. And 2 of the lines that I looked at in the lyrics was lighting up drugs, also fighting in the club. I don't know who picked these. I don't know if they got paid for it. I don't know if it was by a volunteer, but some of these selections, and they said that FIFA didn't knock back any of their requests. First of all, they don't make any sense. But second of all, the Feels So Good one, there's no possible way I'd want young kids and that listening to these sorts of lyrics. But any which way, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, look, maybe the person who chose these songs were on the drugs when they chose them. So I don't know. Who knows what's going on? I'd love to hear Land Down Under a little bit more. So hopefully the Socceroos score a few goals against Denmark.
Yeah, look, I'm not a fan of any of those. And look, some of them have gone for, things that meant something to their team, which I actually like. But the ones who have just gone out there for a cool song, it's not a party, right? There's enough excitement and enough happening in the football pitch without having to start and doing these new things. But yeah, look, we move on. But shout out goes to Infantino and the FIFA team. Not sure what you're doing, not sure what's going on, but I think you need to work it out pretty quickly. So our A-League Women's Wrap for you guys playing on at home, a couple of topics we look at for each of these games. So the score, a player that was worth the admission, a lesson from the game, as well as a game fact. So the first game was actually between the 2 debutants from the previous week. So both Wellington and Western United, first ever games in the Women's A-League the previous week. Both had totally different results going into this game. But the score here was 4-1 to the Western United, the away team. For me, the player that was worth the admission alone was Hannah Keane. She had 2 goals and an assist. Her header was a cracker. She tore the Phoenix apart. So I wish they were wishing she didn't turn up. They were wishing she had better things to do, like watching the World Cup, or maybe she had something else on. But she was a different league. And I don't know, maybe if you'd thrown Hannah Keane into the Wellington team, the score might have been different. But luckily for the green and black, she was wearing the colours of the Melbourne team. But the lesson from the game, the Phoenix, you'll struggle to score goals and win games if you only have 3 shots in a game. So they had 3 shots, 2 on target. They scored their first ever A-League goal. So they did score the week before, but it was an own goal. So no one from the Phoenix had scored in their opening game. But in the game against Western United, they did get a consolation to make it 1-1. Well, not consolation, but they did get a goal to make it 1-1, which was a header. Yeah, you definitely need to be shooting and having more shots if you want to get something out of a game. And the game fact for me was Hannah Keane was not signed by Melbourne City 6 years ago. So she pursued opportunities overseas, which gave her the experience of playing against teams like PSG in the Champions League, and included a Spanish Cup final against Barcelona after defeating Real Madrid. So at the time, the coach was Joe Montemuro, who's now a star over at Juventus. So I'm not sure what he was thinking. I think he's gone for a more experienced player over her, but she's come back and proven that she definitely was up to it, and better late than never. I just find it really strange that, like I said, in a league that we're trying to build and trying to get to the same standard as the rest of the world, we can't sign a player like that 6 years ago. But as I said, it's great she's in the Women's A-League now, and I expect to see bigger things from her throughout the rest of the season.
I think you've summed it up pretty well. You got to take your chances. You got to create chances to score goals. So, hopefully both teams learn from that and move on next week.
The second of the 4 Saturday games this week was the Brisbane Roar versus Canberra United. Tell us how you saw that one, BIG.
Yeah, look, interesting game. So the score was 1-1. Canberra United took the lead through Jale in the 23rd, and then Larissa Crummer equalised for Brisbane Roar in the 53rd. My player to watch was Larissa Crummer. She scored the equaliser. She also hit the crossbar with a chance. And she's been in and around the Matildas squad recently, so she could be one to watch and possibly a bolter for the 2023 Women's World Cup. So she's a tidy little player, scores goals, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her this season.
She scored in last week's win as well, so she's in good goal scoring.
She's in good form.
Early on in the season, yep.
Yeah. My lesson from the game: Canberra need to make more of their chances. This rolls into my game fact. They had 18 shots with only 4 on target and a shooting accuracy of only 25%. So they had a lot of possession, and you just got to capitalize on that and really make the keeper work a little bit harder for the possession that they had.
They need a shooting gallery this week, don't they? They just need to put some targets up around everywhere. It doesn't matter if you put a drink bottle up on the fence or you put whatever you're doing. They just need to be shooting.
Yeah, shoot on sight. I think at training, I think you put 2 goals up in the space of like an 18-yard box, and you get everyone in there and literally just get the ball, and every time you get it, turn and shoot. So that's my advice to the coaching staff this week: get that game happening at training.
They don't hit at least the target 50% of the time, you can't watch that night's World Cup game. So that's a good punishment, isn't it?
That is definitely.
All right, maybe if we don't hit our targets 50% of the time, we can't watch them either, but then we'll be in a bit of strife. Anyway, moving on to the third of the Saturday games, it was the Newcastle Jets up against Western United. It was Western United's first game of the season after a bye last week. Newcastle coming off a loss to Brisbane. They got their first win of the season. It was 4-2 to the home team, the Jets. For me, it was a no-brainer here. The player that was worth the admission alone was young American Sarah Griffith. She's only 23 years old. She got a hat trick. One was a left foot, one was a right foot volley, and a header. So it was almost the complete set. Left, right foot, and header. If she'd hit, like I said, both volleys, that would have probably topped things off. But she was fantastic and really, really enjoyable watching her. And every time she got the ball, you thought there was a chance she could hit the target or score something. So I loved watching her. For me, the lesson from the game would be Wanderers need to work on staying alert for the full game. They were in it for large patches. They switched off at points, which cost them goals, like not tracking a player. So all of a sudden you think, oh, we're doing quite well here. They've got a nice kit. Maybe they're looking at each other's kits saying, these kits are nice kits this year. The Wanderers spent some dosh on us, or, whatever they were looking at. They just weren't at the races the whole day. So if you want to make sure that you're going to pick up points in any league around the world, you've got to be on your game, for the whole 90 minutes or 90 plus minutes. So That was that. And for me, the game factor that I really, really like was the Jets win is also exciting as they have 7 players from last season's Northern New South Wales competition in their squad. So while it's great to have star imports like Griffiths, it's also important to develop your own players. And that's something that I know is very close to both mine and your heart, VIG. So really, really exciting to see those players because not only is it great for our league, but it's also great for our national setup for the Matildas and so on.
Yeah, definitely. You always want to see homegrown talent, and now they've been given the opportunity to go and play in a W League. So yeah, just looking forward to seeing how they progress throughout the season, and the more minutes that these players get, the more value they have.
And the final of the 4 Saturday games was another big Blues. So we've had one in the men's just recently, in which was a cracking game. I think it was the opening game of the season in the A-League men's competition. But we had Sydney FC versus Melbourne Victory on the Saturday night, 2-0 win to Sydney FC. So not a great start to the season for Victory, coming off back-to-back losses. The reigning champions off a loss to Western United last week in their first Melbourne derby between the two clubs, and now a big Blue loss as well. But I'm sure they'll bounce back. So for me, the player that I get up off my seat and go and sit there clapping on the sidelines without doubt would be the Sydney FC captain, Natalie Tobin. So she kept it tight at the back, not allowing Victory many opportunities when they do have a lot of attacking options. And she played an impressive 42 accurate passes out from the back, which is definitely something the Victory needed in their back line because their distribution from the back was absolutely comical at times. So I think if she'd been running the dark blue instead of the light blues defence, then the game could have panned out a different way. The lesson from the game for me was leading on to that, which was Victory's casual, sloppy passing out from the back. It cost them both goals. And, the game was pretty tight other than that. I think Sydney had quite a few good opportunities, especially falling to Speed's Divine. She's like watching Roadrunner. She just burns players for fun. Only thing is she's got no finished product at the end. So she could be worth anything. You could probably add 3 or 4 digits to the back of her salary if you can get her putting goals away with that sort of speed. But she's a work in progress. And the match fact was first blood in the new season for the Sky Blues in the Big Blue, as well as in the grand final rematch. So these two teams look like they'll both be there up around about, the business end of the season. And it's great to be having games like this already on this early on in the season, and another fantastic match in the Women's League already. But unfortunately for Victory, not the start they wanted, but back to the drawing board. I don't think it'll be long before they bounce back. So there was only one Sunday game, and that was the Perth Glory versus Adelaide United. And what did you see in this game, VIG?
Yeah, how good. Perth back at home for the first time in a year. So unfortunate they didn't come away with a win. Adelaide United finished up victors with a 1-0 win. My player to watch, or player worth the admission, I couldn't split it between these two. It was Dylan Holmes who scored the match winner for Adelaide United, and the Adelaide United goalkeeper, Annalise Grove. She made 3 or 4 crucial saves, keeps a clean sheet away from home. But yeah, I'm not sure what's in the water down in Adelaide, but they just keep on producing top keepers.
If you're a keeper looking for an opportunity, you're not going to Adelaide, right? In men's or women's?
No, the youth setup there, I don't know what it is, but we look at the men's side and they've got 3 quality keepers and probably another 2 or 3 in the youth setup that are coming through. So just phenomenal, the talent down there between the sticks. My lesson for the game: suburban grounds do work when they're done properly, and I know people have thrown a lot of shade at Perth Glory for moving their games from NIB, especially the men's team moving from NIB to Macedonia Park. I think they're playing 13 games there this season. So it just looked, the pitch was in immaculate condition. I love what they've done with the grandstand and the colours, and I can't wait to see the men's team play there later this season. So that was for me as a spectacle watching it. We want these games to look good, and we want them to be played on good pitches, and it was perfect ground for an A-League women's game. So looking forward to the men playing on there later this season. Game fact for me, it was, I was touching this earlier, it was Perth's first home game in over a year. So they did dominate possession. They had 15 shots, 7 outside the box and 8 inside the box. So apart from Annalise Grove having a great game between the sticks for Adelaide, Perth did have their chances and could have walked away with the points.
Nice wrap up, mate. Now, speaking of fantastic goalkeepers, up after the break, we're lucky enough to have a chat with Melbourne Victory's number 1, Paul Izzo. We'll catch you after the break.
You're listening listening to the Football Revolution.
Joining us now in the player escape room is a man whom we're excited to have back in the A-League after a few seasons playing in Greece. Please welcome to the show, Melbourne Victory's brilliant numero uno, Paul Izzo. G'day, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Mate, love having you here. How are you? Everything well with you?
Yeah, it's all good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Life's good at the moment. Could be better on the field, but, in terms of, my life, everything's, under control at the moment and really enjoying.
Is this your first time ever living in Melbourne?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah. What do you like most about Melbourne, just in general, without the football club or anything else? What do you like? What do you and your partner like to go around? Is it the parks, the coffee? What is it?
To be honest, I'm a pretty simple guy. Before I was moving to Melbourne, I'm coming from Adelaide. Melbourne's like New York City, you can say, I guess.
True.
I was pretty stressed out about, the lifestyle, what it'd be like and all that, like the traffic and this and that. But it's not too bad. It's all right. I enjoy it. It is I wouldn't say full-on lifestyle, with all the people and everything. But, for me, I'm in a good area at the moment. It's pretty relaxed and chilled out. So where I am, just relaxed.
Mate, even if you're not sure about Melbourne, I know they're very sure about you. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
After stints with Adelaide United and the Mariners, you tried your luck abroad in Greece with Xanthi before returning home to Victory. What did you learn from that experience?
The Greece experience?
Yeah, the Greece experience.
Oh.
Besides get paid up front.
Yeah. Learn not to trust everyone's word, that's for sure.
Yeah, make sure they pay a holding deposit up front.
Yeah. But look, I love my time in Greece. It was incredible. I think the style of football was, very different to your Australian football, but you take into consideration now with promotion and relegation how different football can be played and how much more intense and even passionate it can be. It's the biggest thing I took away was the kind of do or die kind of not attitude, but like feeling around just one particular game, how valuable points actually are.
Yeah, look, that totally makes sense, mate. And I think that's a great experience for you, and hopefully it puts you in better stead for further opportunities, whether it be a Victory or somewhere else. But what's impressed you most about the new club?
Obviously, straight off the bat, obviously bringing in a player of Lewis Nani's caliber it's a big statement. It shows the club wants to be successful on the field, but also off the field they want eyes on the game, and they want to put their hand up and try help the game grow in Australia. And for me, that's massive. I mean, it's always a big risk bringing in a marquee and stuff like that, but it just shows what the club's about. And for me, that's been really impressive.
Mate, speaking of Nani, what's it like having a global star in the change rooms, at lunch, on the pitch? Tell us, for us local punters who are just watching in awe, what's it like having a guy like that around who seems like not only the absolute quality on the pitch, but he's humble and a real good guy off it?
Yeah, I remember the first day he came in, it was kind of like all the boys was kind of just in the change room, like getting ready and everything, like just chatting away. And then he's walked in, and it was kind of like that moment we were like, shit, he's actually here. Like, wow, And of course, the first few days and everything, everyone was like trying to get comfortable and stuff. But like you said, he's a real humble guy. He's really good for the team in terms of he doesn't have that big ego of saying, oh, don't talk to me, don't tell me how to do this. What I've done in my career. He's very open, and he wants to be really involved with the team. And for me, that's the most important part about bringing any marquee or big name foreigner, because you don't want people coming in saying, oh, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this, I'm taking a step back. No, his hand on my chest, he's 100% in. So yeah.
Mate, the A-Leagues must have missed that chance to get the A-League access of you guys watching him come in. Instead, they're getting Charlie Austin abuse his teammates. That was the perfect opportunity for them to get some excellent footage watching you kind of big-name pro footballers actually freak out because there's another big-name footballer coming in. So, I think they missed the boat there, but they just need to be a little bit more on the ball, I think, to make sure they catch those opportunities.
Yeah, no, there were a few jaws on the ground when he did walk in, but like I said, once he settled and everyone got to know him, he's just like one of the boys really in the team now. Like, we don't even really, for me personally, I don't even have that. I don't even think about, the things he's done. Every now and then you'll be like, wow, I remember when he did this and all that. And you see a little snippet on Twitter or Instagram, you're like, wow, there's Lewis, and you're like, I sit next to him in the change room now, so.
That may also have a little bit to do with the fact that he played for Man United, not for Newcastle United. Because if he played for Newcastle, maybe you're a little bit more nervous around him.
Maybe get me in the Mariners change room with Todd, mate. Whoa, yeah, that'll be better.
True. Mate, how does the facilities and everything at Victory compare to when you're in Greece? I know Greece would have had the beautiful postcard views, but tell us for people that have never really experienced anything, in the Greek leagues, etc. What was that like? How does that compare?
For me, I was fortunate at my club in Xanthi. The facilities were actually, quite good. For me, on par with A-League, some A-League teams. Obviously, the more you travel around and go to other stadiums, then things get quite interesting. That's for sure. But it's a different world over there. I think. Here there's rules and regulations. Over there, it's more. There's a pitch we play there. But also there's a lot more problems deep down in Greek football at the moment than just facilities. So, but in terms of where I was, I couldn't complain, to be honest. Pitches were okay, sometimes good, sometimes a bit rubbish, but it was you'd be able to go out and train and not have to stress about doing anything stupid.
Mate, we're glad to have you back in the A-League. Maybe Sydney FC fans, maybe not so much, but I know all other fans in general are super excited to have another quality keeper back in the league. You guys have started the season with a quality win in the Big Blue, but results haven't been, been up and down since. What's the vibe like still in the squad?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of belief. And I think, obviously, at the moment, there's a lot of, not disappointment, but frustration with, I think we know how much of a good squad we have at the moment, and we're not really putting it all together consistently, I think. I mean, I think the Sydney game and the Newcastle game, when you look at them two and we're on, I think all right, maybe the Sydney game we conceded 2 goals, but we're solid and, we're defending and we're attacking together, defending together. And I think it's just, getting that a bit more consistent and, results will come our way a lot better. But yeah, look, we're always positive in the work we do. We believe in the way we play, and that's the main thing. The wheels haven't fallen off. It's still early doors in the season, and it takes a few good games, and the happy days are back, I guess. So we're just pushing as hard as possible to get those good games back under our belt.
Nice positive attitude. Mate, there's no A-League men's fixtures until December. What's the schedule for the team the next few weeks?
We had a few days off after
Did you just watch a bit of Netflix? What did you do to let your hair down?
For me, it was good because I was back in Adelaide. So I had a nice weekend in Adelaide, quite friends, family and all that. I was very busy. Don't worry about that.
All thanks to the Qatar World Cup, right? Because if it was in June, July, you guys would be playing now.
Yeah, exactly right. But nah, it's not bad. I think now it comes at a good time, I think, for us where we can actually knuckle down and, look ourselves in the mirror and really focus on ourselves. And it gives us good time to kind of rectify the things I was saying, it's just good. It's a good, let's say, a mini preseason, I guess, again, just to clear the cobwebs.
Yeah, look, I think there's some teams in the league that obviously didn't want the league to stop. And I suppose that's probably the same in the Premier League. Arsenal were praying that the season continued. But I think of all the teams in the A-League, I would honestly say, hand on heart, the Victory is probably the one that wants this reset, because you have a quality squad. Things just aren't going to plan at the moment, but I don't think there's a lot to change. There's little tweaks here and there, and it gives, the squad and coaching staff that time to be able to try and get those things right. So once you do hit the ground in December, that you hit the ground running and push your way back up the table. Mate, what are your team goals this season? What's Popper said that is a minimum bar for you guys to achieve?
That's pretty much another reason why I chose I took the role at Melbourne Victory, because usually there comes a point in the preseason at clubs where everyone says, "All right, boys, like, what are the goals this year? Doing top 4, top 3, top 6?" Like here, it's just a given. Every season, no matter what squad you got, you have to be pushing for a trophy, no matter what. So, like, that was the easy part for me. Like, I know what I'm walking into. The club itself is always pushing to be the best, and that needs no discussion, I think.
Okay, so basically, when you had that chat with the club, you knew straight away down to IKEA, buy a new trophy cabinet and put that at home, just to make sure you're prepared, right? There's probably too many jobs you got on your list, but if you can knock that one out the way with that confidence, then you're at least set for the end of the season, right?
I'm not getting it from IKEA, because that'll take me 2 hours to fix. It says on the box 10 minutes, but it takes me 2 hours. So,
mate, that's how Airtasker was evolved, because everything seems to be 2 minutes, but it's not. It takes 5 hours. That's why they have people now who come in and do it for you.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
All right, mate. What about, just before we get into the 2 games I like to play with my guests, what about personal targets? I honestly think that they could have taken, Birigui, yourself, Joe Gauchi, Glover. There's plenty of guys they could have taken, across the World Cup. So, and you've played over 30 games, for under 23s, under 20s, under 17s for Australia. What's your personal goal this season at Victory?
Honestly, like, I'm not saying that I don't care, but like for me, my first and only job is to win things with Victory. And look, if we're winning things, that means I'm doing well, and whatever happens after that happens. But for me, I think my whole career I've just really focused on what I can do, and if you're doing well enough, then a call up will be around the corner, and that takes care of itself, I think. So for me, obviously, just full focus with Melbourne at the moment.
No wonder the Victory fans love you, mate. And I know you got no interest in coaching when you retire, but Mayor of Melbourne, that's a big possibility with that answer. I'd vote for you. Mate, you're old. Will you cuddle babies? Will you do other things? What else can you do?
Can drink a beer pretty good as well. So, yeah, that'll be all right.
You'll be fine down in Melbourne then. All right, mate. Let's get into the first game I like to play, which is called 6-a-side. So it'll be 6 questions comparing you and your Victory teammates. You ready to roll?
Let's go.
Who is better at penalty shootouts, you or Matt Acton?
Oh.
I told you this would be tough. You might lose a few friends over this, but that's why I'm asking the tough questions.
Well, of course I'm going to say me, because, you got to have that confidence in yourself.
You don't have to say you. You could have said Matt Acton. Don't tell me you have to say you.
Oh, I'm saying me. It's me.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, I love you. He's the best bloke on earth, but...
Do you have many penalty shootouts at training and practice at training on them?
To be honest, in pre-season, yeah, a couple. After we'd have like small-sided games and stuff, we'd finish off. It feels like we're drawing, but no, we haven't done it in a while. So, yeah.
Is there a player that you've got under your thumb in penalty shootouts at training that just can't get one past you, and you just know psychologically now it's nothing to do with ability? He just mentally can't get past you now.
Noah Smith is horrible at penalties. Okay. I don't even have to look. And it doesn't have to be me in goal. It can be Matty. It can be Young Ahmed.
Could be me.
No, it could be you. I'm telling you. He will miss.
Okay.
The target.
You might have to. That's why you probably have the Melbourne Demons on speed dial, so you can give them a quick call and say, "Can you kick the ball back that Noah just took the penalty with?"
Good on Noah. He'll get there one.
Who works harder in the gym, you or Tommy Urich? Mate, you look around, you see the weights, right? Who's got 100 kilos on the bench and who's got 40 kilos on the bench?
I'm going to say me.
Okay.
Like,
what's your forte in the gym? Is it the bench? Is it the legs press? What are you really good at?
look, I like to joke around and mess around a lot and all that stuff. But when I have to do the work, I do my work and I do it all. I feel, maybe Tommy. I don't know. It's a weird one. These are weird questions, man.
I'm testing you out here, mate. I want to make sure.
Hey, Tommy's a good worker in the gym though as well.
Mate,
He's gone me. I don't care. Me.
You're still going to be the mayor of Melbourne. Don't worry. Even if there's a couple of friends over this, I'll get you a few new followers. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Who's a better roommate, you or Josh Belante?
Better roommate.
Yeah,
in Greece, he was just the recovery station. Whatever you needed, he had it. He had foam rollers. No, it's definitely him. He's got the lot. He's got the recovery bar. Like,
he's a go-to man, right?
Yeah, you need a massage gun. He's got it. You need, all sorts of gadgets.
That's a Theragun. That's a Theragun, right? Amazing.
Yeah, he's got it down packed. So I'd say it's him.
All right. Who takes longer in the shower, you or Lee Broxham? Now, I'm not talking about who's been in the shower the longest because he's been there for 40 years at the club. I'm talking who takes longer when they actually have a shower.
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I feel like we're kind of on par.
Are you okay? Who takes the longest shower then by far? Who's someone that goes in there and you just know he's
Ray, hands down, Ray.
Oh, does he?
Absolutely.
Okay, is that to think about how many players he kicked in the game and he couldn't understand why he got fouls against him? Is that why he's probably in there trying to, do a debrief?
No, he's just he's incredible. He's a top person. He just likes to take his time. I think I'll leave it at that. He's just very relaxed.
I'll take that.
He needs a siesta in the afternoon, and I think because that gets cut out, things take their time during the day, and
he needs something to replace it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he would just stand in a nice hot shower for a long time.
All right. Who is cooler under pressure, you or Jake Brimmer?
Cooler under pressure. I'll give Jake that one.
Yeah.
He's got some
on and off the pitch. Like if someone took your car spot, who's going to just go, yeah, it's okay, mate. It's a teammate. Who's going to fire up and say, get your piece of rubbish out of my spot, right? That's my spot, and I'm not walking any further than I need to.
Oh, all right. No, we got no one like that in the team, to be honest. Like, everyone's a good guy.
Good.
Kind of that no ego personality things in the change room. It's a good squad. There's no one like that.
Yeah, brilliant. And last one, who gets noticed more in the street, you or Chris Economides? If you guys are walking down the street and getting a coffee together, do you get more kids coming up to you saying, "Oh, there's Paul Izzo, I want your autograph," or you get Economides, or?
I don't know. It's a hard one because I'm a pretty lazy person when I'm done. So I like to stay home, relax, chill out. Chris is quite busy. He likes to go out for a coffee, do this, do that. So he's out there. So maybe I'll give that one to him. And
all right. By default, he's out more. He's put himself out there, and you like to keep to yourself. So we're cool with that. But all right, we'll give that to Economides.
Yeah.
But, one extra bonus one. Tell us one thing you're much better at than a teammate. So it's free hit here, just something you walk straight in and straight off the bat you were like, I know I've got that guy covered straight away.
Far out.
Pick a big scalp too. Pick something, pick Nanny or pick Hef or Rolly. Pick someone, a big scalp.
Big scalp?
Or even a small one, anyone.
Hands down, I'm better at two touch than George Timothy.
Okay.
That's a given. Yeah.
If you took any longer, I was going to give you one. I was going to say, surely there's someone you have better tats than. Definitely, that's a guaranteed.
Obviously, I've got a bet like not everyone knows. It's not really a discussion, is it?
No, it's not. All right. That's null and void, right?
That's not fair on everyone else.
No, not at all. All right, mate, let's move into the second game we like to call two touch. So I'll give you a word or a couple of words or even a sentence, and you just tell me in 2 words what comes to mind straight away for you.
All right, let's go.
Public transport.
Public transport, shocking. Traffic.
I was going to say never used. I thought that's what you would have said.
Well,
I mean, you play football, like, yeah.
Why I say it's shocking is because the road I take home, if I get stuck behind a tram, I'm stopping, starting. There's one thing I hate about Melbourne. These trams.
How long does it take you to get to training?
No, not long. Only 20 minutes. But if you get stuck behind a tram and you need to be somewhere, forget it.
Have they got trams in Adelaide? I know Sydney, we've kind of brought them back and, they were amazing 50 years ago and now they're slowly making their way back. Do they have them in Adelaide?
Yeah, they got them in Adelaide, but like they got their own lane, like there's 2 lanes for the cars, then there's the tram lane. So like they're out of your hair. There's no problem. There's no stopping every 10 meters when someone just gives a wave and one person gets on and no one gets off and you're just thinking, and then another 10 meters and they stop again. You're like, why couldn't you just wait there?
Well, you know what? When you're mayor of Melbourne, that's the first thing that can go. You can just give them their own lane and we'll change that, right? That's straight away no-brainer.
Yeah, done.
All right. Tony Popovich.
Ooh, hardworking, without a doubt. Hardworking.
So he was obviously a main reason why you moved to Greece and then back to Victory. What makes him so unique and so special? Because let's be honest, a lot of people aren't going to follow coaches around unless you really think this guy's got something special. What's he got?
I think it's just like, I think he's got that expectation of what he wants you to be all season. He really does. He does challenge you to be your best every single day, and I think as a footballer, that's exactly what you want, and it's only going to make you even better. So for me, working with Tony, the boss, that's a big drawing point. How much he wants you to improve, not only just the team.
Yeah, love it, mate. Look, I'm not complaining that he's the coach of Victory, but the best way for me to sum up Tony Popovich is, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Good Will Hunting, but I hope every year when I look at the coach of a club, I hope I don't see Tony Popovich, because that means he's gone overseas and got himself a big gig, which I think he deserves. So it's meant in a respectful way, the fact that every year you look at it and you hope when you see the 12 A-League coaches, they say, oh no, Popper's not here this year. He's coaching over in the Premier League or Bundesliga or something like that. So I think that's how a lot of people would feel about him. And I think, Ange and obviously a lot of Muskie have done great things, but I think he's right up there with them, and I think he's just waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you hit the nail on the head.
All right, mate, languages, in particular, the Greek language.
Abusive.
How did you go with that when you're over there? Did you use translators? Did you just not communicate sign language? How did you get by?
Oh, no, my mother's Greek, so okay. I've got Greek in me, yeah. So,
Greek and Italian?
Yeah, Greek and Italian. So
okay.
You can imagine what those Christmases are like. Yeah, probably not the best coach to have right now when we come back after Christmas dinner. He's putting us on the scale. So, but no, I could understand like the general chit chat, but like when it gets like general conversation that goes too quick and all that, I'm lost. But yeah,
are you better at Italian than you are Greek?
No, I probably said the opposite. I'm probably better at Greek than Italian.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's obviously because I had 2 years there as well, so that helped a lot.
Okay, I'll fast track to one of the ones I had a little bit further down the list. Christmas Day.
Had to bite my tongue there for a second.
Yeah, you mentioned family there. You mentioned Greek and Italian Christmas days, and I had that down. So I fast tracked it up the list. So,
food coma.
Okay, so. What's your go-to? What is that one thing that you wait for at Christmas and go, I don't care if I get on the scales and I weigh an extra 10 kilos. I'm happy to be tortured for it. What is it? Is it an Italian dish, a Greek dish? It might be an Aussie dish.
I don't know. Honestly, it's just it's just the vibes you get when you're with all your family. It's like you have to eat. Like, okay. And then, like the standard, everyone just, they pig out. Everyone goes to sleep for a nice little nap. And you wake up and you eat again. That's how Christmas is. That's how it is.
Are you heading down to Adelaide, or are they heading up to Castle Izzo? What's the deal this year?
Castle Izzo, yeah. They'll be coming to the shoebox Izzo, yeah.
Oh, yeah, come on, mate. All right.
They'll be coming here. No, they will be coming up. So yeah, that'll be good for me. It's the first Christmas I'll have with them in over 2 years now. So yeah, really happy.
Hey, that's worth coming to the A-League alone.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. Karaoke.
Man, I just don't know what to say to that.
Can you sing? Are you a good singer?
Nah, shocking.
Okay, so will you still have a crack, or you just rather just sit down and let everyone else make a fool of themselves at karaoke?
Oh, I'll give it a crack. Like initiation song, like boys were paying cash, and I was thinking, you're not getting my money. Like I sung.
So you've done one at Victory this year already?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you give yourself out of 10 if you had to rate yourself for your performance? Taking in
Honest?
vocal ability, but also like effort, giving to the performance. Because look at Kylie Minogue, right? Worst singer in Australia, in Australian history, but she's a great performer, but she can't sing. I can probably sing as well as she can. So give yourself a high mark if you put a full effort in and you knew all the words, even if you're not vocally great.
No, I'll give myself an honest 6.8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. It's fantastic.
Fair assessment, I think.
Look, I'm not expecting to buy your Christmas album, but we'll give that a pass.
Done. So 50%, mate, to pass.
All right, AFL. Considering you've been in Adelaide a long time, and you're in Melbourne, AFL.
Collingwood. That's me.
Okay.
Collingwood. Yeah.
Are you pies, man?
Yeah,
you
I'm
have my black and white pajamas. I'm starting
black
to see
and white.
here, mate.
I live life in black and white, mate. That's how I see it.
Mate,
Magpies, Collingwood, Magpies, Newcastle. It's easy. Save money on a kid as well. There you go.
Mate, I just hope you stay out of jail. I think that we're getting a theme. I'm just hoping that's a good thing, right? We just stay away.
Yeah.
We can play black and white all the time. Just stay away from that.
Yeah, don't want to get too attached to the colours, but yeah. Let's just keep it sporting teams, black and white. There we go.
I won't mention I support Hawthorn. All right. November World Cup.
November World Cup. Odd, weird.
Yeah, not a fan.
I don't know. It's just it's good for us now. Like 1 year, we actually get a World Cup where we can actually watch the games, and we're not up till 4 a.m. and we're wrecked the next day. But for me, it's just I'd say more so the venue of the World Cup is the thing that kills it a bit for me, with how it's not going to be like your Germany and Brazil with all the people out in the street, creating all this atmosphere and celebrating, doing this and that. It's just, for me, we'll see how it goes.
Mate, the best way for me to sum this up, and this is the politest way, is I look at the Qatar World Cup as online dating, right? Because what happens is you post a picture, right, of you 30 years ago or of somebody else, and then they look at it and go, oh, I like the look of them, and then you find out it's not them, right? And you get disappointed. Qatar put in a bid. It wasn't even real. Then they changed when they were going to host it, who was going to host it, and all these different things. So it was a fake bid, right? So I don't know how you can host a World Cup when it was fake, right? It was an online profile. It was fake. It should have been canned, and they should have given it to somebody who deserved it. They cost the Socceroos so I'm a bit dirty about it. But look, there's a lot of
FIFA got catfish. Simple as that.
they did get catfished. And the thing is, too, there's going to be a lot of big players who hang up the boots at the end of this. So maybe that's what makes it a magic World Cup. And we can only hope, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter who's hosting or where it is, it's the biggest football sporting tournament in the world, right? So surely it's going to be good viewing. Yeah,
for sure. I think, you nailed it again. It's a World Cup.
I tried my best, Paul. I tried my best.
You're doing a great job.
Something not many people know about you.
Oh, not many people know about me. I'm Greek. I'm half Greek. I'm just Italian, but yeah.
All right.
My mother's Greek. So
like I said, I knew the Italian thing, and then, like I said, I thought you were going to tell me that over in Greece you were absolutely fish out of water, and you're telling me, no, mate, I was right at home with the fam.
No, I loved it. Yeah, it was right up my alley. The lifestyle, chilled out, go relax, coffee, easy, done.
All right, and the last one, mate, away games.
Away games. Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Okay. Who's your favourite away trip? Whether when you're at Adelaide, who's your favourite away game you look forward to because of the stadium, the states, the fans, or whatever?
I think it hasn't changed for me now, really. It's just opposite ends. I think when I was obviously at Adelaide, Victory was the best away game, and now the Adelaide, because for me, I think the stadium, obviously there in Adelaide, is the best for atmosphere and a real football game. And I got to experience the other side of it, and I loved it. I can't wait to get back.
Is this in your contract? Because when I spoke to Joe Gauchi, he said Victory as well, right? So are you guys signed a contract when you either play for Adelaide or Victory to say, hey, this is a friendly fire because, Victory are hated by City and Sydney, Adelaide are hated by Victory and so on. But they said, look, let's at least have one friend here. Let's sign an agreement to say, if anyone asks something about us, let's be nice.
Look, honestly, I think, you ask anyone in the league, and they'll all say, obviously, Victory, with our like amazing numbers that we bring to games, and also like everyone will hands down say Adelaide is like, if you're getting pummeled over there and that crowd gets on top, like it's another kind of like experience, and the stadium doesn't even have to be full, like, and it feels like it's packed out. So yeah, it is a really good stadium, and it's a special stadium.
All right, mate. Last question: who do you like in the World Cup? Who do you think will hold it aloft in months' time or whenever the finals played?
Oh, tell you what, I don't want it to happen, but like seeing how close England came in the Euros, can they kick on again? I hope not. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe in Argentina. But that's said every single year, like every World Cup, and then they do what they do. But yeah, honestly, I'm excited to see who's there in the end, because I think Brazil's back to being that sort of powerhouse kind of they were. Even like England's up there now, and like it's yeah, for me them three will be interesting to watch. Even Portugal is looking really good as well.
Who's your dark horse? Is based on obviously, it's going to be hotter conditions. It's going to be there's players who are injured because they've been pushing the players to the max, and the coaches haven't had a lot of time to prepare like they normally would in June and July. They've kind of got them back after domestic duties, and there's players out and so on. Is there a dark horse? There's a team that you think because of the conditions and the unique situation that's going to rise up and cause a few upsets?
For me, I don't think the conditions will be bad, because when we had our qualifiers, the one camp I did go to with the national team, we played in one of the World Cup stadiums, and the air conditioning in the stadium was unbelievable. Like you wouldn't even know it was 40 degrees outside the stadium. It was incredible. So I don't think the conditions will play too much of a part come game day. But yeah, Belgium's a dark horse every year, aren't they? So we'll see how far they can go, maybe. But I don't know. I'm just keen to watch, see what happens.
Who's paying the electricity bill?
The oil, the oil, mate.
Yeah, mate, this will be basically they'll have to use all the jersey sales money just to go straight to paying the electricity bill. If they've got these air cons that you're talking about, and there's multiple facilities all across the whole of Qatar, who's going to pay the bills?
Yeah, look, I don't think money's really an issue over there. I don't think they were thinking about that when they built it.
Mate, I'm also sitting there thinking, hopefully for you that that one game that you went over there with the Socceroos is not your limited exposure. I think, like I said, there's a massive opportunity for you to get back in there. You're still only young at 27. For a keeper, that's a baby, right? Like that's playing under 10s for a field player, right? So you're still a baby. But, mate, I really appreciate your time. I wish you all the best, during this period with the victory, but also once the season gets cracking again. I think it's around the 10th of December. Try to take it easy in the food coma, Izzo family Christmas, and enjoy having the family over there, mate. I know how much they mean to you, and I know it's a real special time for you. But I've loved every second of chatting with you, and I'd love to check in with you later on in the year.
Yeah, too easy. Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was really good and really comfortable. So thanks for that. Cheers.
All right, mate. All the best. We'll speak to you soon.
Easy. Thanks for that.
You're listening to the Football Revolution.
Welcome back to the show. It was fantastic talking with Melbourne Victory's goalkeeper, Paul Izzo, and I'm sure we'll expect big things from him for the remainder of the season. But up now, as we said previously, it's a bit exciting, and I think we're both biting at the bit to get stuck into this. We've got our World Cup review and our now new world-famous Peely Awards. So a few interesting things for the tournament so far, just before we get into those awards. So my favourite was the performance of Spain's wonder kids, Pedri and Gavi, who set Qatar alight. Their combined age is 37, same age as Ronaldo, and Pepe and Alves are both 39. So if you're looking for value, you can take two of those guys for one. Does that mean you can play 12 on the pitch at once, BIG?
Two for one. Look, they're both brilliant players, phenomenal from La Masia, the Barcelona academy. They're pretty much untouchable, those two. It'll be interesting to see how many years they actually stay at Barca and play at Barca, or if someone comes in for break the bank for those two. But absolutely phenomenal players. I don't know what you were doing at 18, 19, but I definitely wasn't controlling the midfield in a World Cup match. So just unbelievable to see players at that age dominating like that.
Mate, without getting too sidetracked, do you think this has something to do with the fact also that they haven't spent every single dollar they have keeping Messi, and they've let him obviously go to a different pastures, but it allows them to focus now on, for the last 10 years, it's all been about Messi, 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 Messi. That's all we need to do. Maybe they take their eye off the ball about having to develop any other players or that sort of thing. But now, is it just coincidence that they get two fantastic young players at the same time as they've let their biggest star go?
Yeah, look, when they had Messi there were probably players of that quality or just as good that never got the chance to play for Barcelona and had to move on to other clubs. Danny Olmo's a classic example. He was in Spain as a youngster, and he had to move to Croatia and now to Germany to play first team football. So there's a bunch of players in that academy that are probably good enough to play first team football, but haven't always been given the chance. So they've had to move on and go elsewhere.
The tournament's had a high five. So far, nil or draws to date. There's been 5. The record is currently 7, which has been shared by 3 of the previous editions. Are you worried that we could end up with a record number of scoreless draws?
Look, it's looking that way. I think somewhere I read also at half time, I think they've been the most nil-alls at half time in a World Cup ever. So I don't know if the heat's playing a factor. Seems to me that the early game is almost odds on bet for a nil or draw at half time or nil or draw at full time. So I don't know if Qatar's a city or Doha's a city that comes to life at the night time, so maybe everyone's still sleeping during the day game.
Maybe it also has something to do with the amazing cool aircon. Maybe they're a bit relaxed, right? So it's not until you run around for 45 minutes that you start getting the temperature up, and then you start going, well, we need to play here. But for the first 45, while you're in beautiful, nice aircon, you're like, nah, we can just take this a little bit easy. But Japan's fans are very eco-friendly, and the Samurai Blue supporters stayed to clean up after defeating Germany. So not only did they clean them up on the pitch, but afterwards they decided to stay back and make sure that they did the right thing by the stadium and by the hosts, and cleaned up the stadium. A nice act from their fans.
Yeah, beautiful. Look, we know the Japanese culture and the type of people they are. Such gentle, people off the pitch, on the pitch. They could be killers sometimes, and they took it to Germany. I think a few of the players had to empty their pockets after the games and take the German players out with the trash. So they were brilliant. It's good to see. It's good for Asian football, and the people and the culture in Japan. Lovely people, and hats off to them for staying back and doing that.
Whilst we're on the topic of this, USA's Weston McKennie taking cleaning to a new level. He used the cameraman's shirt to wipe the ball down before taking a throw in. Is that going a bit too far? Is that saying to them, look, we don't think you're doing enough, but we also would like you to also provide extra services?
Yeah, look, you could have maybe cleaned the cameraman's camera as well, the front lens or something like that. But no, look, a nice touch. It shows the personal side of football. You've got to laugh. You've got to enjoy playing. We see the Brazilians playing with a smile on their face, doing rainbow kicks and tricks and flicks and something like that. No harm in it. I think it's a bit of fun, bit of banter, and good for the game.
And the last one I have for you, it looked like Lewandowski curse was going to continue with his penalty miss in the 0-0 draw with Mexico. He scored 76 times for his country, but in 3 appearances in the 2018 tournament, as well as firing blanks against the Mexicans, it looked like the football guides were sending him a message saying, we don't care how good you are in international friendlies or qualifiers or Euros, but at the moment, mate, you're never going to score in a World Cup. However, in the 82nd minute against the Saudis, he picked a defender's pocket before slotting home to break the voodoo.
Yeah, look, he went from Lewandowski to Lewandowski in a matter of days. So he's a quality striker. He's hit the back of the net so many times for Bayern and every club he's been at. And it's good to see him scoring in a World Cup.
It also shows how difficult it is, the World Cup, considering this guy scored, goals for fun throughout his career, no matter where he's played, whether it be in Spain or Germany. But then you come to a World Cup and in 4 games, he hasn't scored a goal yet. So it does give you some indication of, it's only the best of the best at these major tournaments, as probably Italy and Sweden will attest.
Yeah, look, I think Mitch Duke can claim that he's got the same number of goals in a World Cup as Robert Lewandowski now.
Well, I had the same number as Lewandowski before he scored he scored in that game, so I'm a bit disappointed he did. But look, he's a fantastic player, and it's great not only for himself but also for the for the Polish people. But all right, that's the end of my couple of little tidbits about the World Cup so far. So this week, look, you can call it whatever you like. You can call it our Peely Awards, as they have in the 1995 American comedy Kicking and Screaming, starring Will Ferrell and Robert Duvall.
Okay, and if I win, what? I get the Pele ball.
Do what?
If I beat you in the finals, Pele ball. It's mine. I get it.
Here comes Pele! A little high and into the crowd!
I got it!
Oh, I got it!
Dad!
What?
Can I have the ball?
I caught it. All right. You get the next one.
If I beat you in the finals, I get the Pele ball.
And part of their bet, they made a football tournament. They made on a football tournament is the father's Peely ball. So it was actually a ball that his father recorded a game. So I think it's meant to be Pele. I'm not sure if they were taking the mickey out of it and calling it the Peely Award as a bit of a joke, but sometimes the Americans have a total different interpretation of words than we do. So look, it could be the Peely Awards or it could be our Pele Awards. Either which way, we've got 5 cracking awards coming your way. We'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on each of these awards, and we'll both give our opinion on each of those. I think to make it fair, we'll toss a coin to see who kicks off, because this could be a huge advantage. And each week we'll keep score to see, after the fans have voted, who won that previous week. So I've just tossed the coin. VIG, you want to tell me, heads or tails?
Yeah, look, first of all, it's called soccer.
Okay. All right. We're fine with that. All right.
Apparently so if you're American. But yeah, Pele, whatever we want to call it, let's roll with the Peely Awards.
Some sort of player, either which way. But all right, heads or tails?
I'll go heads, please.
It is heads. Do you want to kick off, or do you want to in the first half, or do you want to kick off in the second half?
I'll kick off in the first half. Let's do it.
Yeah, I really wanted this one, but anyway. All right. So the first of our awards is the double Ronnie, which is for best goal of the tournament for this week. So it's basically named after Ronaldo from Brazil, the second on the all-time World Cup goal scorers list with 15. And a combination here, the double, is the Cristiano Ronaldo, the new breed, who's now currently on 8 since we announced this last week after his penalty during the week. So he's on 8, just over halfway to the original Ronaldo. So who did you put forward for your nomination for this double Ronnie Award?
Look, I know you wanted this one because I know where you were going to go with it. Look, it's fitting that it's called the Double Ronnie Award because he's put the R back in R9. For me, it's got to be Richarlison versus Serbia, absolute banger. Turn and shoot on the volley. Phenomenal! It's like he's playing in the favelas or in the streets in Brazil. I can't go past that goal so far in the tournament.
Yeah, it was like Vinicius Junior provided the pass, and the rest. It was like for me, Circus du Soleil with Brazil's Richarlison. So I'm a bit excited, considering I don't think we've seen the best of him at Spurs this year. And look, it makes no difference for me if he does it for Brazil, but it's just enjoyable for everybody. I don't have anything riding on Brazil, but for the tournament, it was a fantastic spectacle. Going up against that is a very hard task. There's a few options here that I think I could probably go with, but I'm just going to try and take it on a match it with El Dasari's stunner to beat Argentina. So El Dasari's, put them in a box seat for a chance to go through. Unfortunately, their second result didn't go to plan, but being 1-0 down against a team like Argentina and then equalising, and then he pulls out a stunning goal from the edge of the box that I think rocked not only the stadium, but football fans globally. It was a fantastic strike, and it meant so much to the people of Saudi Arabia. So for me, my nomination this week is the Saudi Arabia's winner against Argentina.
Yeah, phenomenal goal, and I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but the halftime speech by their coach Hervé Renard gave him absolute rocket. I think he said, "Oh, Messi, press Messi. Why don't you take your phone? You take a picture with him." Absolutely brilliant halftime speech. The Saudis came out in the second half. They were phenomenal. They're very technical players. They're quick, and that goal was up there with one of the best so far at the World Cup, but. For me, I can't go past Richarlison. I'm not sure we're going to see something better than that this World Cup.
Like that footage that we saw of the coach at halftime, that's the sort of stuff I want to see. So if the A-Leagues are watching here and they want to do their inside access, don't worry about these things that aren't interesting where people are, they catch them off guard and saying things that are inappropriate. Go and catch a coach like that who's saying stuff which genuinely lifted his team. It was intelligent, but it was also damn funny. God, it was entertaining the way the way he ran over and closed down his assistant coach too was just classic. Like it was just absolute different league.
And as if it's not hard enough, you're getting blasted in one language. You got the translator there repeating it. So if you didn't hear it the first time, you got it the second time, and out they went in the second half, and they delivered.
All right, so moving on to our second award, which is our best save, which is our safe as a Banks. So this was named after Gordon Banks, the England goalkeeper, one of the greatest keepers to have ever lived, and forever remembered widely as the keeper that pulled off the greatest save of all time to deny Pele another World Cup goal in 1970. So there was plenty here, I think, to choose from, and I'm not going to give away too many because that may blow one of your nominations out of the water. But for me, it was Poland's Szczesny's double save against Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia, no surprise with their start to the tournament, getting a lot of nominations here for our Peely Awards, but a brilliant stop to deny El Dasari, the number 10 for Saudi Arabia, who, like I said, has already been mentioned earlier for the goal. But from the spot, he's walked up, he's basically picked where he wanted to go. Szczesny's pulled off a fantastic save, and then a sublime effort to keep Al Barik, number 6, from smashing home the rebound. So both saves, I reckon, could have earned themselves a nomination for our best safe as a Banks for this week. But individually, they were outstanding. But combined, I think they're unbeatable. So for me, hats off to Szczesny. Absolute wonderful piece of goalkeeping twice. And he totally deserves our nomination this week. What's your counter?
Yeah, look, you've picked 2 in 1, so I've had to go and pick 2 saves, I think. So mine's Manuel Neuer against Japan. He had a strong save with his left hand down to his left hand side. Was it match defining in the context of the game? Probably not. Japan went on to win it again. So maybe the Szczesny double save does trump that already. And then I think Tunisia's goalkeeper, I thought he had a fantastic game against Denmark. Eamon Daman. I think he saved one of Eriksen's shots, which was moving, and to could well have done the Socceroos a massive favour in keeping us in the hunt. Now we get a point off Denmark and we go through. So for me, it was out of those 2 saves. But like you said, I had Szczesny's on my list as well. You've just stolen it off me, but I think a double save probably trumps 2 of those saves.
We'll see what happens, and based on the first award where you won the toss, I think maybe that goes your way. I'm hoping the second one. So we go into the award 3 at being 1-1. But it goes to show it is open to interpretation, because the 2 that I was talking about, other than the saves we've mentioned, was the Great Dane Kasper Schmeichel's heroics to repel Issam Jabali's 1-on-1 effort, and Senegal's Mendy's when he clawed away Mohamed's close range effort around the post. So they were the 2 other fantastic saves. So there's a lot to choose from there. So your choice is my save, which is Poland's Szczesny's double, or you've got your 2 in 1, which is 2 saves for the price of 1. So I'd love to hear back from the fans and the listeners who they think will take out this week's award. Moving on to our third award, which is our Maradona Kebab. So it's something outrageous. It's arguably the greatest of all time in a matter of minutes. So he scored the most controversial goal of all time, followed by the most incredible goal, beating most of the England team. This is in the 1986 Mexico World Cup. So what are you putting up on the table for our Maradona Kebab, our first one of the World Cup? BIG.
Yeah, look, I'm going to talk about an outrageous player in Kylian Mbappe. I'm not sure if you've seen this on social media. There was a little clip in the game against Denmark where he does a little shimmy, fakes, and he's doesn't even get the ball. He's nowhere near the ball. Does this fake run, and the right back for Denmark, Rasmus Christensen, he just falls over. He just gets sent for an absolute hot dog. It just goes to show how dangerous and how quick Mbappe is. And we were talking after the Australia-France game about Nathaniel Atkinson's performance and how he got rinsed. And Mbappe it goes to show he's a phenomenal player, and he doesn't just do it to players playing in the Scottish League or at lower level. He does it to players playing in the Premier League and for nations that are fighting for a World Cup. So just phenomenal. Just his movement, his speed. I just thought like that movement is just absolutely outrageous for me.
It's scary, isn't it? Because most players, and it's just the laws of gravity, it's the laws of, I suppose, the human body and all that sort of thing. Most players can go forwards and backwards and change, like that pretty quickly. But he goes sideways, diagonal. The guy it's like his legs have these I don't know, these pivot points, these pivot balls on there to just allow him like a robot just to change the direction of his body. So, and look, it is something phenomenal. I think we are in a period where we have had two of the best, if not the best two of all time in Ronaldo and Messi. And it's, you kind of look at it and go, well, where does the next one come from? Well, he's there, right? Him, Haaland. There's another group of players. Whether they take the crown, I don't know, but there is still some phenomenal players lining up. I'm going to counter that with the upsets of the World Cup so far. So Japan over Germany, Costa Rica turning the tables on Japan, Morocco's win over football powerhouse Belgium. But it all capped off by Saudi's stunning come-from-behind win against Messi's Argies and King Salman declaring it a public holiday in his country. Only in football does this happen. And it's great when you do have football as your main sport and something that you're just fanatical about in your country, because instead of having to wait for something crazy good to happen, like you win the Nobel Peace Prize, you just have to knock off, the Argentinians and you get another public holiday.
Yeah, how good. And to top that off, I think he's also said that he's going to give every player a Rolls-Royce Phantom. So
got it all now.
He did offer that. Maybe he's retracted that offer after the Poland game, but that was the rumor floating about.
Look, they were good for their money in the Polish game. If you watched it, they had a lot of good opportunities, and Szczesny was just really, really on his game. And okay, they got caught out. They had stopped Lewandowski's attack on goal, which he then cut back and they tapped in. And he picked their pocket. So I don't think there was much in it. So, look, this is maybe just the fact that he's got too many cars and he's decided he wants to clean out his garage, right? That's what it might be. It might be simply that he's just got way too many cars in there and it's getting too dusty and he just wanted to clear a few out. So he thought, let's just offer them to the players. But either way, both fantastic nominations. We'll see what the listeners vote for. So our fourth award is our Only in Guitar. So different time of year, no beer, something you can only see here. So for me, this one has got me absolutely lost, and maybe you can pour a bit more, shed a bit more light on this for me, VOG. But the amount of stoppage time in these games. So what happened to a minute or 2 minutes of injury time, and they hold up on the board? They're going to need boards now that can hold 3 digits, because apparently a new policy to clamp down on time wasting. Is that really the best plan? So most games in this tournament, 7 or 8 minutes of injury time. Argentina, Saudis, plus 14. England versus Iran, plus 14. Wales versus Iran, plus 13. And then Portugal and Ghana, USA and Wales, Senegal and Netherlands are all plus 11. Where is all this time coming from?
I don't know. I think they're stopping the ball every time it goes out of play, but it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. The last thing you want to see as a player after 90 minutes is the board go up and 13 minutes on the board. Like, you ran your backsides off for 90 minutes. You got to do another 13. But in a way, though, it does make for some pretty spectacular football. We saw in the Wales-Iran game, I think Iran scored in the 98th and the 101st minute or something like that. So, when players are fatigued and, anything can happen pretty much. So it's, we've got a duty of care for the players as well. So, I think if it's going over 10 minutes, I think there's got to be some sort of questions asked. But 5 or 6 is probably the norm and the acceptable.
We're rolling the dice here. As you said, look, there was an outstanding finish in those games, but you are rolling the dice. As we said, coming into this, you've jammed too many domestic games into a short period of time to make sure that we comply with this World Cup. All of a sudden, you've got players breaking down left, right and centre. You've got players breaking down just as the tournament starts. And now, okay, you've dodged a bullet because you haven't had too many injuries in the tournament so far. And then you go, okay, Len, let's dance with death here and let's start playing 11 and 12 minutes on top, which is crazy. And people you can't, when it's 1 or 2 minutes, you can go, let's just ride this out. But if it's 11 or 12 minutes, you have to start making more subs, right? And if you don't have any left, what do you do? So I don't know. I just think they are dancing with the devil here. It's a bit of a risk, and I'm just hoping that towards the business end of this tournament, we don't continue playing 10 minutes worth of stoppage time and find out we end up losing a couple of big name players, and we have a final where there's no this guy. We've lost Neymar last week. We already lost Benzema. We don't want to start at Harry Kane. We're already losing players anyway from the just sheer physicalness and how tough this tournament is. Let's not add on top of that.
Yeah, look, I agree. Player welfare has got to be number one, but they've set the precedent now, and it's going to be hard to change for the rest of the tournament. But yeah, let's just hope it doesn't get out of control.
What do you got for Only in Guitar?
Well, only in Qatar. This. When I saw this stadium, I was amazed. Stadium 974. When they were saying, "Oh, the game's at Stadium 974," I was going, "What are they talking about here?" It's a temporary venue. It's made from 974 recycled shipping containers. It's phenomenal. I've seen some photos of it, and the way there's like lifts that are shipping containers moving up and down between the levels. It will be dismantled at the conclusion of the tournament, but it's the first.
Is that to send the fans and the players home one way? So you just make sure you stand in the right container, and then they just pull it apart and ship them.
I don't know how many shipping containers they have in Qatar, but they've got people living and staying overnight in shipping containers. They've built a stadium out of shipping containers. I don't know who they've knocked off a few ships in the Suez Canal or something like that. and taking the containers, but yeah, just phenomenal. When I saw that, I was just astounded by the way that stadium is built, and it would have been pretty cool to go there.
You've impressed me, because I thought it was impressive in Australia that they were using shipping containers for pools. When people didn't want to go and get it dug and use a fiberglass or a concrete pool, they've started using shipping containers. Now you're telling me there's a whole stadium here that hosts World Cup games. So you've got my vote here. I'm hoping that the listeners don't side with you, but I am very impressed. All right, and moving on to our final award, which is our VAR, so our VAR and officiating stuff up. So it could be that the referees had a good one and the VAR's then gone and stabbed him in the back, or it could be vice versa. But usually you don't get the two of them performing well at the same time. So there's normally a lot of nominations here. What have you got, VIG?
Look, mine comes from the Belgian-Canada game last week. I thought Canada were phenomenal in that game. They deserved to get something out of it. The way they pressed and played. Just their attacking mindset, the way they're set up to play, absolutely brilliant. They got unlucky. They missed a penalty early on. Alphonso Davies he's a phenomenal player, and he plays with a bit more freedom for the Canadian national team. But it was in the second half. I think it was Richie Larea got into the box, and Axel Witsel, clear trip for me. He steps on his ankle, but it doesn't even go to the VAR. I don't know what's going on. I think it did go to VAR. I don't know what's going on. How can they mess that up? And for me, that was a clear penalty, and Canada deserves something from that game, the way they played.
So you believe that cost Canada points?
Yeah, look, it might have cost them a point or 3 points. They had a bit of momentum at that stage, and they really took it to Belgium. Belgium were running on nothing. They had their backs to the wall, and they scored a pretty average goal from a direct pass. And yeah, the centre backs probably got caught out a little bit, but I don't think Belgium deserved anything from that game.
Mate, you are, as I say, the encyclopedia of football, so you can have a good crack at this one. What do you think the VAR was doing? So was he in the wrong storage container? Was this at 974, or what? What was he doing?
I don't know. Like this is why we have a VAR for these types of decisions. Like he's clearly stepped on his ankle, he's tripped him over, he's in the box. That for me, that ticks all the boxes for. It's a penalty.
Shouldn't it? 1 + 1.
Yeah, it's a penalty. It's simple, and I don't know how we can get something like that wrong.
All right, I'm going to counter your. I think it was your save where you put in a dual award, simply because there's one here that I can't believe happened, and the second one I just loved what happened in it. So I'm going to put in a dual nomination. So for me, it's a combination of Wales and Hennessy's red card. So I don't know why they needed to call the VAR. His knee collected the Iran player's head when trying to clear the ball, so it was uncoordinated and badly timed. And then what was stranger for me was a teammate following the referee to tell him what he thought of his decision to give a yellow card. The referee told him to back off, so he stood with his hands behind his back, then shrugging as if to say, it's a coincidence we're going the same way. No, it's not. You're following him over, giving me an earful. So when you say, look, I'm entitled to stand here, no, you're not. You can stand on the field. You don't have to follow me over to watch it on the little screen. So I just can't believe, fortunately for for Iran, they got the decision right, but I can't believe it when you see him running through and next thing you know, he's been wiped out. The keeper hasn't got his hands anywhere near the ball and he's kneed him in the head. And then what a surprise, he gets sent off. So that's the first part for me. But the one that I really thought was just absolute shocker was, and it was only 2 minutes into the tournament, so it hasn't taken VAR very long to get centre stage, but Ecuador's Valencia's opening goal of the tournament in the first game against host Qatar. Within minutes of kickoff, his team had taken advantage of the home team's nerves at the back, but the referee asked the VAR to have a look and the goal was disallowed. Now, I'm still trying to figure out how the VAR can play Mario Kart and get a simple decision incorrect, right? So how can you not? What else are you doing? Like I said, are you in the middle of doing the third lap to make sure that you win the tournament, or in Mario Kart? What are you doing that you just can't possibly look at that and say, there's nothing here that I could even make up that would give this as an offside goal? Is it just to help out? Like I said, it was the opening game of the World Cup. The home team hasn't lost in 92 years. It wasn't the right start. So you're thinking, look, I need to give him a hand here. Yeah, but there's a billion people watching. It's not like it's tennis against your mate and there's like one person watching and you go, oh, the ball was out and it was clearly in. It's worldwide. Everyone's watching it. There's video replays, there's stoppages, there's social media. How can you get this wrong?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I think Sepp Blatter was up in the VAR box, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe a few brown paper bags under the table, but yeah, it's unexplainable. I've got nothing more to say.
All right. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are and if you have anything else that you'd throw in there as nominations. But we've both put in our 5 nominations for each of the awards. On each of the awards, we've done, one of us have had 2 cracks at it. So mine was in the the VAR, and yours was in the best save. So maybe that's something we can keep going. Maybe we get a lucky dip where you can play 2. If it gives you a bit of an advantage, maybe you can play 2 options. And if the listeners don't like your first, maybe they like your second or vice versa. So it gives you a double chance to try and pinch that award. But next week, we'll give you the results of that. And we'll also have another edition of our Peely Awards. But it's now time for the end of our show, which is our clinical finish. So the first award we hand out in this clinical finish, or the only award we hand out in this finish, is our WTF, or our What the Foot Award. This one for me was really simple. Ghana's Osman's Bakari's troll of Cristiano Zoo goal celebration with his team trailing 3-2. Now, no disrespect to Bakari, but he's scored 2 international goals and about 20 plus career goals to date. And he's sitting there against one of the greatest, if not greatest, goal scorers of all time, who scores for fun, who is a weapon of mass destruction. And you could go and sit and troll him. I don't know what he did to you, mate, but it wasn't a smart move. Your team was losing 3-2. They end up losing 3-2. You got nothing out of the game, and you go and do that. There's already, I don't know, if you want to have a look, go have a look, mate. If you don't know who Ronaldo is already, go look at his social pages and see how many fans he has. So I'm guessing these guys aren't following you, and if they are, they're going to unfollow you. So not a smart move. I was just thinking, what the foot, very disrespectful and stupid on his behalf.
I think it was disrespectful. It's not like, we're all fans of Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a phenomenal player, and if that was me doing it on the weekend, it's sort of paying homage to Ronaldo and how good he is. But when you're playing against one of the greatest of all times, and to do that in his face, and you saw Ronaldo's reaction, it was kind of like, oh, come on, man, like, did you really just do that? So it is what it is, but we don't need to see that.
Yeah, it was pretty poor form, wasn't it? All right, moving on to the A-League women's fixtures for this week. So the pick of the matches, the undefeated top of the table clash between Adelaide and Western United, which is a very mouth-watering clash. City versus Raw, whom are both have an experienced defeat this year, is another very enticing clash. And then you just can't go past the Sydney Derby, Wanderers hosting Sydney FC. Which one of those games do you like? Which one are you definitely going to be getting in front of a TV for, VIG?
Look, the Derby, 3 p.m. Saturday, Arvo, out at Marconi Stadium, so an iconic football ground in Australia. So if you're local, get out there and check it out, because I think that'll be probably the pick of the bunch.
You're loving these local games, aren't you?
I am. I'm loving the local sports ground. Macedonia Park in Perth was brilliant. So looking forward to more of it.
If they missed any part of the show, or they want to listen back to other episodes, or they want to hear our Peely Awards, where can they catch it?
Yeah, they can catch us on all good podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or up on YouTube as well.
We need to make sure we get plenty of this peerly footage so that the listeners don't think we're crazy or me crazy, and they can see what we're talking about. It's very funny, and considering now we are also a video show, it will be a lot clearer for the listeners once they or the viewers once they do see that. But plenty more World Cup action coming our way this week. We hope you enjoyed the show even half as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And until next week, rise up and join the football revolution. Have a great week, and we'll catch you then.